All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor. Hello.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm fine.
We have with us for the second week in a row, Gail Lewis and Connie Seagraves, both top producing performing agents with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming back with us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too.
Yes.
Okay, good. We are here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors. We have been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for 50 years.
Wow, 50 years. You do have exceptional realtors.
We do.
Yes. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab, and you can see what's going on at Dunmore Corners. We were also picked up by Weather Nation TV, so some days you might see us.
And that's our claim to fame.
Yes, that's
right?
it. Hey, you never know. Someone else might pick us up.
Look us up on social media. We're pretty much everywhere. View our listings, search our MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to jruddy.com, mobile-friendly jruddy.com. And most recently, we did add our radio shows to podcast apps. Most popular podcast apps have our show. You search The Real Estate Roundtable with Jackie Ruddy, and you should find us. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple Podcast. Rate the show, promote the show maybe by sharing it on social media, and you can follow or subscribe. If you have another type of phone, you can go to Podchaser and rate the show, follow the show, and if you care to share it on social media, we'd love if you would do that. And once again, this week, we are going to continue our discussion with Gail Lewis and Connie Seagraves, both top performing agents with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. So just bear with me. I did mention this last week. Gail Lewis was the top agent. She ranks number 19 in volume sold and number 22 in units sold with the Greater Scranton Board of Realtors. Connie Seagraves ranks 38 in volume sold and number 61 in units sold and this is out of 600 plus realtors in the Greater Scranton Board of Realtors. So you are in the top portion of realtors in the Greater Scranton area. And thank you for your hard work and dedication. I really appreciate it. Gail's been doing this 20 years. Connie's been doing this 8 years. You both have a lot of experience and a lot of repeat business because of your hard work and the way you handle transactions. So 2020 was record-breaking. You broke a lot of barriers in 2020, despite the 2-month shutdown with COVID. And so, what did you do differently last year? You both came from other offices. You were at other offices before you came to our office. You were always the top in our field, but did you do something different last year?
Not that it was done, that I did anything different than I've done throughout my whole entire career. It's just that it was the way I went about everything. I had to make sure that everything that I would have at my office was something that I needed to have within my home office, which even became more of an office with just the daily needs to do what we needed to do. Again, allowed me to spend more time talking to clients, whether it was on a FaceTime, whether it was on a phone call, a chat with people being at home, just staying in the constant communication. And people had time to be able to do that. And again, having them having the time to look through the MLS.
One thing I like about you ladies, both of you, is when I call you, oh, dear God, you answer the phone. How many people do I call? And I mean, in real estate, especially in real estate, you call people.
That's the number one complaint.
Oh, they don't get back to you.
They're not responsive, that agents aren't responsive, and agents don't communicate. So, I mean, that's important. So I hear that you're communicating with your clients, and you didn't fall off the face of the earth despite us being shut down for 2 months. You stayed in touch with people, right?
It's even those people that aren't repeat customers or clients. You have someone new call you. If you don't respond within 10 minutes, they're on to the next agent. So even though you may not recognize that restricted number or that what says potential spam, if it's somebody who's actually has a real estate question, they're going to listen to a voicemail. Listen to that voicemail, because then you can call them back within that 10 minutes before they move on to another agent.
Okay. Connie?
As the years have gone on, I've developed a great referral base from past clients. I have great friends that are always referring me to new clients. And I think that has helped substantially. Last year, I sold homes for people and then, sold them a home in advance in addition to that. So that's 2 transactions for just one phone call. I've had 2 homes, even when we were closed down, that I sold through a webinar with the sellers, and also just after we were able to go back to work, I've sold homes just through a video. A lot of people that are in the city and want to move to the area, I don't even know I don't think they even want to leave their homes when they're in the city. And I've done video chats with them and had actually been successful in them placing an offer on our home.
So you embrace technology, because before we were always in person, whether we were signing contracts or, showing houses and listing houses, we would always do it in person, right? Most of the times, even though, a lot of our paperwork we can do digitally these days. But so you embrace technology to give the consumer what they need, the showing of the house, and you continue to be responsive and communicate, which are, things that a lot of agents, I don't believe, do on a regular basis. So that's, I think, what makes the difference. What do you think about professional pictures?
Absolutely.
On homes? Do you think
Absolutely.
that?
If the home is worthy of professional pictures are very important. They showcase the house so much better than just people taking snapshots. Very often you go on the MLS. Some agents put homes up without any pictures. A lot of the pictures are blurry. Even if I do take my own pictures, I always make sure that they're acceptable to the clients. And I just want to make sure that it is showing the home in its best light. Another thing that I think is great for us is Patrick's drone pictures, especially out in the country. What a difference it makes for a home when people are getting to see the country setting that this home is in. You're getting very different shots, and very often homes with trees in the front of them, a lot of landscaping right at the home. You can't see the home as well as when it's done through a drone shot. I think that's important. And another thing that, I'm very happy with is our signage. I think Century 21 has the best looking signs of any company. It's like a 4x4 on a mailbox post. It just looks professional. A lot of these signs you see, people put them up on the property. They're falling over, the paint's coming off, and our professional signs stand out above all the rest.
Good. Okay. So in your experience, and I am going to really throw a curveball here, do either of you have a day of the week that you tell people is the absolute best day to list a home?
Friday.
Yeah, that's it. Friday. Right. Get ready for the weekend, right? Friday. What about a closing? Is there an absolute worst day of the week to close on a property?
Friday.
I think Fridays are good.
I think Fridays are good. I think Monday's the worst day.
There you go. Why? They don't have time.
They don't have time to, you close on the property, they immediately want to move in. That's what we do. And then you close on the property, and based on their work schedule, if they don't have the opportunity to take that whole entire week off to get in, and it's frustrating.
Right. Or if there was an error made, and that has to be made, as a correction has to be made, how do you do it over the weekend when, bankers' hours and attorneys' hours aren't? I mean, we're available, right? So,
That's true.
So how do you make that correction and get it to the closing table when your closing's at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning.
That's when closings end at 4 then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Virtual staging versus real staging. There's some virtual staging available that we can do, where we take the picture and we can put a couch in, a table in. What do you say about that? Because like some agents are embracing that when there's a home that doesn't have any furniture, just to help the pictures, the buyers who can't visualize where the bed would go or this would go. Do you?
Well, I think it gives buyers an idea, again, of space, of what they have to, is this furniture going to fit in my house? You have a 12 by 12 bedroom that the walls are separated, windows, radiators, closet doors. You have a king-size bed. It's not going to fit in there. So maybe having something like that could be helpful to a buyer.
But then they get to the property. And they don't have the pictures in front of them. And they don't have their computer in the front of them or whatever. And then they have a harder time. So, virtual staging is fine if you're going to browse on the internet. But when you go to the property, they might not have that perspective again. Yeah. So it's, 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other, I guess. It's just, it makes it look appearance wise on the web better, but not so much in person.
I always tell people if they're moving, even prior to listing the home, I try to take the pictures before they move all their furniture out, because the pictures do look better, even though it's not your furniture. At least the pictures look better with furniture in them, I think.
Good idea. All right. So market changes since COVID. What are you doing? I mean, there's things that we have to do to keep people safe. Sellers need to know if they're living in a house. They don't want everybody walking through all of the time. So we have to protect them. What are we doing? What are our protocols?
I always make sure that whenever an appointment is scheduled, that buyer is a bona fide buyer. I want to see their pre-approval letter before they go through there. During COVID, you don't just, like an open house, you don't just want random people coming through. I do suggest to my sellers that if they are extremely nervous about buyers coming in, even if they're pre-approved, to make sure the light switches, all the lights are on, to make sure that the closet doors are open so that's less that they have to touch. They have to wear masks, hand sanitizer. Some people I have had wear latex gloves showing properties. They just feel more comfortable doing that.
I have a container of Clorox wipes in my car. I also have a supply of booties. Some sellers want you to have the Clorox wipes, have the booties, and I also have some gloves in case people. I try to do all the touching, but I do give people the Clorox.
Yeah,
wipes.
we wipe down when we go in and we wipe down as we go back out. So just to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And then there's forms that we have signed to make sure that, people are, we're screening people so that, especially if it's a occupied property, we're giving that seller peace of mind, right?
Yes.
Okay. Rent versus own. This interest rates are so low. Buyers, we're not traveling as much we're not eating out as much. We're not traveling as much. So people have a little bit more disposable income than when we were living normally, right? So it's a great time to buy because the interest rates are so low. And everything I read is it's going to continue through 2021 until maybe the second half. And then some of the experts are predicting that we're going to see a rise in the interest rates. So they do continue that this boom is going to continue with the low interest rates and people being able to afford more of a home. They're going to have to be able to afford it since prices are going well above and beyond sometimes the list price. But, renting versus own. It's a good rent is now increasing to a point where it's in a lot of cases cheaper to own than rent.
Yes. I mean, I do get sellers a lot asking how long this market is going to continue. And I wish I had a crystal ball. Yeah. But again, interest rates are I think they're lower now than they were almost a year ago.
When I built my house in 1978, the interest rate was 14%.
I hope you refinance that.
Yeah. I remember paying 14% on something, too. I had something in the 80s, and I had to pay through the nose.
Yeah.
So they say if inflation comes in, the Fed's going to have to respond, and they're going to have to raise interest rates. And that's the way things look like they're going. So
I think so,
Gas
too.
is going up every day.
Yeah, gas is going up, and there's a lot of things. I'm going to stay away from that conversation right now. Okay, so continuing with the topic of real estate, oftentimes over the years I would get a phone call from a seller, and I'd like to see what you guys say about this. Sometimes people are thinking about selling, and if they can get their number, they'll sell. But also they want to know, should they add on or make major improvements to a home? And I'm sure I'm not the only one that received phone calls from clients about this. So how do you advise people in that type of situation?
Again, just to have the improvements that they make, a lot of times they think that what they put into it is what they're going to get out of it. I've had people ask me, should I finish off the basement? If it's going to cost you $20,000, $25,000 to finish your basement, you're never going to see that back on a return sale. Maybe $10,000, depending on how completed the basement is, but you're never going to see back the money that you literally put into it. So I would not recommend. People talk about taking out carpeting, replacing it. I advise them not to do that because you could put in carpeting and the buyer may want hardwood floors. You could give them a carpeting allowance, but you have to consider you don't want to put money into things that you are not going to, it's not going to increase the value of your property. People think, they put a brand new roof on it, cost me $20,000. Doesn't increase the value of your home. You need a roof, at least one that doesn't leak. You need a furnace. You need windows. Those are things that you need in a home, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to increase the value of what you've put into it, like a $20,000 roof.
Another thing that we often find ourselves doing and figuring out sometimes is when people want to sell a home and buy a home. So let's talk about that, because there's a lot to that, and it can get a little tricky. So they want to buy a home. They need to sell their home. How do you advise somebody, Connie, in that type of situation?
The biggest issue right now is that homes are selling so fast that sellers are not accepting contingencies on somebody else selling their home when they haven't even listed it. If somebody wants to buy another home, we do make it a prerequisite that their home is at least on the market. I'm not going to take somebody out and show them homes that they are not going to be able to put an offer on when it's contingent on the sale of their home, if they haven't even listed it yet. The first thing is getting your home ready to sell. We get it on the market, and hopefully that will get a buyer quickly, and then you can proceed with the sale. But and it's very difficult to try to coordinate them at the same time, but it can be done as long as everybody does everything that the lenders ask, provide the paperwork as they ask for it. Don't have them make 5 calls to just get certain documents that they need. It's very important that you do everything that you're told to do
on time,
at the proper time.
Yeah. Okay. Gail?
Well, I'm actually working with a buyer now who has a home in Texas that he has to sell. The first thing that I did was to refer him to an agent because as I explained to him, in this market, you need to have your property listed before you can move forward with the sale. Sale and settlement contingency, some sellers will take them as long as they can. They have the right to continue marketing their property. Better to have just a settlement contingency. But again, working with an agent whether it's from another area or they're local is just to make sure that home is listed at the right marketable price. So that allows that buyer to make sure that his home sells in a timely manner.
Okay. So good advice. This is not for somebody, of course, people in situations like this do rely on the expertise and advice of somebody that's been through it before, and I know you both have. We're headed towards a break. Before we go, Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have 30 acres of land. It's on Machichka Road in Madison Township for $129,000. This is a beautiful piece of land. It's mostly cleared and level. It would be a great place to build your dream home, or you could use it as a farm. There's 640 feet of road frontage, and the property goes back 2,100 feet. The property has an approved perk and proposed well site. There's some woods in the back of the property. You could do anything your heart desires. You could build your house in the middle of the property and be 300 feet from the property line on each side. That sounds nice to me. I want to be as far away from my neighbors as I can. That's 30 acres of land on Machichka Road in Madison Township for $129,000. And that's listed by Connie Seagraves of our office.
Amazing. Gail Lewis, your contact information, please.
570-241-1828.
Okay, Connie Seagraves, your contact information, please.
570-983-7434.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy in with Pat Devaney, my husband, Fel Realtor.
And we're back.
And we're back.
With a wealth of information between you and Gail.
Right. So, Gail Lewis, I would like to ask you, please, how are Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate resources? What are the company resources that you find are helpful and supportive to not only you as an agent and a successful realtor, you were a #1 top producing agent last year, but for your clients? And that's, who we're talking to now. People out there that are looking to buy and sell.
You're our biggest resource, Jackie.
Oh, why, thank you.
I mean, you're there on a daily basis, every single day. You're there after we all leave, and sometimes it's after 6 o'clock at night.
Yes.
But you're hands-on. You are there to answer questions whenever. Again, being a seasoned realtor, 20 years, and sometimes I still have questions because in this business, you still learn new things every single day. Same paperwork, different buyers, different sellers, different scenarios, and you're a great sounding board to just to confirm what I think that I already knew, but it's you're there all the time. As a non-competing broker, the leads that come in that you just so freely hand off to whatever agent you think would fit best for whether it be a buyer or a seller. And again, I think we have a really good office staff.
Right. It's a family. We do have two wonderful office support staff members that are able to assist with a lot of the paperwork and the reviews and the training. But then there's that team environment that we have, so many willing to help each other, and no matter what the situation is.
Well, it's really nice that, again, when I work from home and I think, geez, I need, this particular piece of paper out of a file, that when you call the office, kind of pretty organized. I can say, where the file is, how far into that file, what number that file is in that folder. And just to have somebody say, can you please fax it to me? Can you scan it to me? I mean, it takes 2 seconds and there's always someone there ready and willing to help.
Well, it's certain, yes. And that's great. And we do have a presence there. So, Connie mentioned the for sale signs, which is something that we always loved as the Century 21 franchisee. We loved always our signs because they tower above our competitor signs.
Oh, and I thank God for Pat that I don't have to put those signs in.
Yeah.
But there was old statistics from a couple of years ago. It said 17% of the homes are sold because of the signs. People seeing the signs and say, oh, wow, I like that home.
Right.
I'm sure that number has changed now with the internet and everything, but it wasn't that long ago. So,
well, signs are still important to identify the property too. And a lot of times people aren't on the internet, aren't even in the market. They don't even know they're in the market. They're driving down the street and they see a sign and they say, oh, I always love that home. And then they call us because of that. So, so those are good things. And so we have an internet presence too, over several hundred websites because of the Century 21 system. We're able to offer our sellers that type of marketing, and then of course this radio show, right?
Yes.
Pat, what do you say about our radio show?
The most important thing is an educated consumer is our best customer. There was a guy who used to say that on the New York radio commercials.
So you stole it?
I did. I stole it. I'm a plagiarizer, but at least I'm giving credit. So, I can't be accused of it. But we like to educate people, and we like to have a little fun also.
Right. Okay. So, there is one more thing that I'd like you to quickly answer. I don't think it's a quick answer, but a lot of times you're going to go to sell a property, you meet with the people that own the property, and they already have a figure in mind as to what they want to sell it for because their house or their property is far superior than the one that just sold 2 doors away, a block away, so on and so forth. How do you price property?
Well, I take a lot of time to prepare a market analysis. I go through not just, the square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms. You really have to look at all the photos, take a look at the seller's disclosure, see what improvements maybe that house down the road has that, your seller thinks is comparable to it. And there may have been lots of improvements and sometimes things that you don't see. There may be totally updated electric where maybe my seller has knob and tube. Again, they don't think that it's such a big deal, but things are very attractive to a buyer knowing that in, 15, 20 years, they're not going to have to do anything with electrical or with plumbing or a roof. It may have new windows. Again, they may look the same on the outside, but until you've actually walked through that home. So when I take the time to do the CMA, not only do I do it on paper, I will send it in an email, the market analysis, but I also send each individual link so the seller can view the same interiors that I am viewing. So that way, again, just having them informed that just by looking at numbers doesn't necessarily, they have to be able to actually compare apples to apples.
Right. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's, it's nice that the neighbor's house sold for X amount of dollars, but it doesn't always mean that that property is going to get that, maybe more, maybe less, but we have to do a market analysis. We have to do an in-depth study.
In-depth is a good choice of words.
Yes. Of similar properties.
And current values.
Yes.
Current values, not properties that are 2 years old.
Right.
Not properties that are not within the same school district, because school district, again,
matters.
It definitely matters.
Okay. Gail Lewis, how does someone get in touch with you, please?
570-241-1828. Call or text 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
And Connie Seagraves, who was with us at the first half of the show but had to run out for a showing, her cell phone is 570-983-7434. Pat, would you like to reveal this?
Yes, we have a beautifully updated 4-bedroom, 2-bath home at 424 Harrison Avenue in the Hill section of Scranton for $160,000. This home has so many updates, including a new roof, updated electrical, new plumbing, new deck, and vinyl siding. This home has beautiful hardwood floors. It's got a new kitchen with quartz countertops. There's also a beautiful fireplace, plenty of storage space in the attic, and off-street parking for 4 cars. That's an updated 4-bedroom, 2-bath home at 424 Harrison Avenue in Scranton for $160,000, and that's listed by Gail Lewis of our office.
Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.